An Italian village with only 46 residents has 30 running for town office. A Spanish town bans sex dolls and genital costumes for bachelor and bachelorette parties. And a Massachusetts teacher is on leave after holding a mock slave auction during class. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News. They're all weird because it's Weird AF News. We're doing weird ones, guys. Weird news. Weird news from around the world. Weird news. I got your weird news right here. Come step right up and get your weird news. It's free. An Italian village with only 46 residents has 30 people participating in the upcoming election. Everybody wants to be in charge in this little tiny government. 46 people live there. 30 are running for office of some sort. Let's find out how many of them actually want to be the mayor. This town is called Ingria. It's a tiny little village surrounded by forests and mountains near Turin in Italy. You guys have heard of Turin? That's where they found that shroud that they, some people say is was wrapped around Jesus because it has an outline of a guy with a beard. Completely ignoring the fact that most likely everybody back then had a long ass beard because, you know, this was before they invented Gillette. So everyone looked like that. I'm so sorry to let everybody know. They all look like that. Okay, it says here, the last time Igor DeSantis ran for mayor in the little town of Ingria, he won an easy landslide victory, but now he faces a tough challenge in his bid to conquer a fourth mandate after his mother has joined a rival camp. Oh, he's going to run against his mother for mayor? I guess when you only have 46 citizens, you're going to be running against your neighbor, your cousin, probably like 2 or 3 of your ex-girlfriends are going to run against you. It's a very exciting election, I'd imagine. I wonder if can you vote for yourself? Because that might really swing it. Let's find out about how they're going to operate this particular upcoming election. Ingria is one of the smallest villages in Italy. It's home to 46 inhabitants. A further 26 people registered to vote from abroad make up the electorate. So they're going to have about, 75 people voting, it sounds like. This guy DeSantis, not to be confused with little Ronnie D in Florida, this guy has led the administration since 2009 and had expected competition in the mayoral race from opposition councilor, a 70-year-old named Renato Poletto. The situation became more complicated, though, when Stefano Venuti, a Milan resident who has a second home in Ingria, threw his hat into the ring. So now DeSantis going to be up against a couple other guys, but sounds like it's going to be more. It says here, the micro race was fully upended by Poletto announcing he had secured support of DeSantis' mother, Milena Crosasso, and he put her forward for a councilor position in the ballot to elect a new council as part of a list comprising 9 women and 1 man on the council. In all, 30 people, about 2/3 of the village's inhabitants, are competing for positions. Oh, so not all for mayor. Sounds like only 3 for mayor, but 2/3 of the village's inhabitants are competing for some sort of position. Why didn't DeSantis just offer his mother a position with him? I'm curious to know that. They did interview the mother, Crosasso, who says that the rivalry would not impact any of the family harmony. She says, both my son and I want the best for the community. This is an opportunity to give voice to women's points of view without weakening the family bonds. She sounds like a lovely woman. Every vote counts here. Imagine. You get 6 votes. That's a landslide victory. This is one of those situations where there's just too many chiefs and not enough Italians. Isn't that how the saying goes? Too many chiefs and not enough Italians. Ingria is in Italy's Soana Valley, in case you're curious, and they experience similar issues as other mountain villages do, such as depopulation, scant services, and challenges with snow during the winter. Since 2022, when it was named as being among Italy's most beautiful villages, it has also had to deal with an increase in tourism. That sounds like a good thing. Although I don't even know do you have a police department that can handle an increase in tourism? The only 46 people, there's probably 1 sheriff, I'd imagine. It's like, back in pioneer days. Here's a quote from DeSantis, not to be confused with little Ronnie D out of Florida. This guy says, there has been an incredible spike We have to manage this tourism. There are very few residents, but a lot of second homes. Our main aim is to preserve Ingria's beauty. He loves Ingria. That's why he wants to be the mayor. We wish him luck. Hopefully he can get the 11 votes that it's going to take to win. It says here, despite the competition should be in quotes. Despite the competition, DeSantis, whose grandfather was mayor of Ingria for 30 years, said he was very optimistic that he could win. This would be you could bribe your way easily. What, you got to pay off like 4 people? That's it. Be like, hey, I'll take you 4 to dinner. All right, you just vote for me, huh? Come on, how hard could it be? A Spanish tourist town bans sex dolls and genital costumes for all bachelor and bachelorette parties. It's another story out of Europe right here, and it seems very scandalous. Badly behaved bachelor and bachelorette partygoers are going to soon face some very heavy fines if they break the new rules in this Spanish resort town. The authorities in Playa de Aro on Spain's Costa Brava, around 60 miles northeast of Barcelona, have introduced some heavy fines and penalties for anyone daring to go out in public in costumes depicting genitalia or carrying sex dolls. Some of you are probably wondering, well, what kind of genitalia costumes are they talking about? And why carry sex dolls in public? I don't know. Have you guys been around these stag parties, these bachelorette parties, hen parties? They're called different things in different areas of the world, but basically it's people about to get married. They go on one last hurrah, and it often involves going out in public dressed like a penis or other parts, carrying sex dolls, sex robots, this sort of thing, blow-up dolls. It's really kind of ridiculous, but they're having a good time. I mean, who are we to begrudge their good time? They paid for it. But it sounds like this town in Spain is really tired of seeing the genitalia and the sex dolls out in public. But apparently, bullfights are still okay, though. You can still just murder bulls in public. They're okay. They're okay with that. It seems. Now, as far as the penalties goes, if you get caught wearing a big set of cojones on your face, you're going to be fined about $811. Yeah. That's if you're walking or standing on a street or a public place wearing any of these genitalia accessories, clothing that represents human genitalia, or if you're without clothing or only in your underwear, or you're with a doll of a sexual nature as well. So all of these things are going to be prohibited. It might put a damper on some people's bachelor parties, not being able to walk around with a giant vagina on your face. Can we still have the donkey? Can we still have a donkey? Is that okay for the party? Can I still drink beer with glitter in it while I watch my friends get lap dances? How about that? Can I do that? Got a lot of questions here. Can you bring sex dolls to regular parties? Like, I don't know, a bar mitzvah or a sweet 16? Can we do that? I gotta know. I got so many questions. They say higher fines will be doled out of up to $1,600. These could be levied for antisocial behaviors, which cause even more of a disturbance. Though the exact nature of these sorts of offenses remains unclear, we can imagine what they might be. These new measures also prohibit going shirtless or venturing out in nothing more than a bikini in urban areas away from the beach, the spokesperson added. And they're going to come into effect at the end of the month. Now, this town in Spain, Playa de Aro, I don't even think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Playa de Aro. Maybe it's Playa de Aro? Playa de Aro. Maybe it's that one. Probably not. It has a population of 12,000, but on summer weekends, it can draw around 150,000 visitors in a day. Ooh, that's alarming. Talk about a rampage on your village. The town council this week approved the new fines, said it would hire more police to enforce these fines. The genitalia police is moving in. Yeah, it's people just filling up the paddy wagons with sex dolls. Police will issue a penalty, but alleged offenders could appeal and would not have to pay a fine on the spot. At a press conference earlier this week, the city's police chief cited a recent celebration in which the groom was taped to a lamppost while his friends played loud music and sang late into the evening, annoying the local residents. Are you going to have a noise violation as well as part of these protocols, I'm wondering? Here's a quote from the spokesperson. These types of activities are not exclusive to Playa d'Aro. Each town should decide how to change this situation if they want to. The town has a 48-member police force. They will get 12 additional officers during the 6-month peak tourist. I'm sorry, that was a slip. A 6-month peak tourist season, which includes spring and early summer when there are many weddings, as well as the bachelor and bachelorette parties which precede them. So if you happen to be going to Playa d'Aro, Plata d'Aro, Plata Hema, Placa de Jaro, Placa Hey, Mama Sa, Mama Cosa, Spain. If you're going to Mama Hey, Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Cosa, Spain, and you want to bring your sex robot and your giant penis crown, just think twice. All right, you don't want to pay these hefty fines. And they're probably going to have to close my favorite costume shop. You guys know the one, the Penis Depot. That's a great one. I recommend it.
I turned my bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman. Bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman. Turned my bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman. Bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman. Put the estrogen in his drink, then we went to the gym. Watching him do those bench press, watching his breasts get big. But it's not just from the bench press, I put something in that drink. Turned my bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman. Turned my bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman. Bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman. Turned my bandmate into a woman, I stole his woman, yeah. Stole his woman, 'cause he's got breasts now. Stole his woman. Yay!
A teacher is on leave after holding a mock slave auction and using some racial slurs. This story is sadly out of my home state of Massachusetts. I'm not proud of it. A 5th grade teacher in Massachusetts, a true masshole, as we would say, has been placed on paid leave after a series of incidents, including holding a mock slave auction, using racial slurs, and calling out the students who reported the usage of the racial slurs and the mock slave auctions. Well, I mean, seeing as they gave the teacher a paid vacation, I'm sure they've learned their lesson, right? Officials did not name the teacher. They won't even shame this teacher in public. Teachers, I mean, some jobs are amazing. You get to do something really horrible, and then they don't really fire you. They just give you a paid vacation, and they don't even mention your name in public. It's amazing. I wish I had a job like this. I should have gotten into another line of business. My employment is very it's very how would you say? It's not solid, I would say. Not very nothing is solid about it at all. I'm recording in a closet, by the way. Officials did not name the teacher. The elementary school is in a place called Southborough, a town about 30 miles west of Boston, out where there's a lot of forests and trees, and apparently racists. District Superintendent Gregory Martineau told the parents in a statement this week that he first learned about the incidents from parents in April. He said the first incident was a mock slave auction. Yeah, I mean, what you got to start spring with a slave auction. Everybody knows that. That's a way to break in the first day of spring. The first day of spring, the birds are twerping. Twerping, is that a word? The birds are twerking. The sun is shining. How about a mock slave auction, students? Who will start the bidding? The first incident, a mock slave auction, took place during a history lesson on the economy of the southern colonies. Apparently, the educator, they're calling them. Yeah, this should be in quotes. It's more like the traumatizer is what you should. I mean, these kids are going to need some therapy. The educator asked 2 children sitting in front of the class who were of color to stand up, and the educator and class discussed physical attributes such as their teeth and their strength. Now, this individual who's the superintendent says those kinds of teaching methods are pretty inappropriate. They trivialize the experience of the victims and are disproportionately traumatic for students of color. Yeah, you think? In the second incident, the teacher was reading aloud from a book and used a slur, which the district later discovered does not appear in the book. They're just trying to colorize the history lesson, just trying to bring in a little improvisation, trying to make it more entertaining and funny. Kind of like what Jonesy does with Weird AF News. I'd like to go off script a little bit. The teacher goes off script and adds racial slurs that aren't even in there. Okay, thumbs up. Where'd you find this idiot? Now, it says here the superintendent said the parents had a chance to meet with the educator and the principal to learn more about these incidents, with the school seeking to be transparent with parents and to learn from their mistakes. But the next day, apparently the teacher inappropriately called out the student who had reported the teacher's use of the racial slur as well. So this teacher's just doubling down. You know, when I first saw the headline, I was like, well, maybe they're blowing this out of proportion. But then you start reading what happened. You're like, nope, not blowing it out of proportion at all. It's funny. You got some schools in the U.S. are trying to erase history from the books in our past. And, well, then you have this. Really embracing history. To the shock of those around, really taking the past and completely, well, bringing it to a very unacceptable, traumatizing place, clearly. Yay! You're gonna cry 96 tears. You're gonna cry, 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 cry 96 tears. For one heart to be crying, for one podcaster in a closet. Guys, how you doing? My friends, my loyal listeners, thanks for putting up with me today. And let's give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise to Callie Marie. Callie Marie is an OG listener of Weird AF News. Big fan, big fan. Callie Marie bought Jonesy a coffee. Isn't that nice? Buying me a coffee, keeping me caffeinated. I like the drugs, man. Callie wrote me a nice note, too, when she bought me a coffee. You're consistently absolutely hilarious, bro. Thanks for making me laugh each and every morning I listen. You rock. Consistently hilarious? That's pretty sweet, because I don't consider myself consistently hilarious. I would say it's hit or miss, really. I'm pretty good. Like, maybe every other episode's pretty hilarious. Maybe like 1 in 3, I would say, pretty hilarious. No, I never walked around with my head high saying this is a 5-star podcast, boys and girls. No. I routinely say it's about a 4, probably. Maybe like a 3.8, 3.9. But man, I appreciate the coffee. I appreciate the compliment. I really appreciate the support. Callie Marie, you are awesome, and I love you. Thank you so much. Good luck with your life, man. What else happened? I got a nice review out of Canada, Apple Podcasts Canada. I get so few reviews out of Canada, despite having a beefy Canadian audience. You guys should leave me reviews on Apple Podcasts in Canada. I got 5 stars, by the way, guys. 5 stars. You know, it's not too often you get 5 stars. Jonesy makes a bad, sad world less. From June Key, Apple Podcasts Canada. Here's the review. Defo, the best news to start the day. I think that means definitely, guys. That's what the kids are calling it. Defo, in case you didn't know. Defo. Guys, get on the train here. Get on board the new lingo. Defo, I use the word lingo like it's like a word from 1988. Defo, the best news to start the day. Way better than being bombarded with all the depressing, brutal, fascist world we're barreling into full force. Oh, that's so poetic. I like that. Yeah, we're definitely barreling into a depressing, brutal, fascist world at full force. I would agree. Jonesy at least makes the rot amusing, even if you don't want to become a daily listener. At least check in weekly for Florida Fridays. Hey, that's right. And then it says it's ... Oh, it's been cut off. I can't read the rest, but I'm sure it's very good and very complimentary because John Key is obviously a fan, and I'm so grateful for this awesome 5-star review. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. If you guys want to write reviews, man, I love it. You could screenshot your review, by the way, just and email it to me. That way, I definitely can see it. Some of these other countries, I don't see the reviews from these other countries. The U.S. ones, I'm pretty on top of. I see them regularly, but I'm not really on board with the other ones. So I'm sure there's some that I'm not aware of, like from Australia, New Zealand, UK, etc., Canada, obviously. My email's funnyjones@gmail.com, by the way, in case you're wondering. And the phone number, 646-450-2012. Love you very much. Call the show. Tell me you love me, too. And if you want to support the show like Callie Marie, buy me a coffee. Go to weirdafnews.com. You can buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Buy a coffee or join the Patreon. That's the way to do it. Show some support. And give yourself a nice hug and a shot on me.